Right now I am leaving my Midtown hotel and taking me to an unknown destination, who knows where.
Psychic medium John Holland has an extraordinary ability, an ability to visualize events that have happened years ago at any particular place. It's a location reading, and for skeptics, it's a revealing demonstration. Although he's unfamiliar with New York City, John is blindfolded on his way to the mystery location. He begins his process in the car.
I try to tune up my antenna, which are the energy centers in the body. The closer we got, the more I was open. In other words, the switch was on.
This nondescript building, now owned by a local university, was once the scene of one of the worst fires in New York City history. It was here in March of 1911 that a raging inferno broke out in the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, taking the lives of many of its young Jewish and Italian female workers. Still blindfolded, John is first taken to the 9th floor, one of the several floors affected by the tragedy.
I was basically put right there and said, "Okay, John, go."
With his blindfold now off, John still has no idea where he is.
I didn't get a lot until I started getting closer to the stairwell. Well, as soon as I walked back here, this section, between here, this area, I feel female. I feel female, but I think this goes back a little. Again, this isn't not 5 years. I'm going back. I was literally seeing the old style with the old haircuts and the women with the dark hair pinned up in the bun. And they don't wear those kind of skirt things anymore that I'm looking at with the hair. And so I knew I had to be around the 1910s, 1920s.
He picks up on the fire almost immediately.
So you would never know by looking here that there was a fire. The closer I got to the stairwell, the more the images that I was seeing was more free-flowing. I feel like they can't get down. They can't get out. This can't get out.
John is then taken to the floor below, the 8th floor. Completely gutted, it is now in the midst of reconstruction, but 94 years ago, this is where the fire began. Here, John's reaction is so immediate that he can hardly wait for the camera to start rolling.
I'm going, okay? This is like a giant fireball. I don't know if this is an explosion because of someone or a giant fireball, and the heat is overwhelming, and the screams, and the women, and the young ones, younger than me. This is where less of me, more of it. Yeah, so you have to put yourself aside because your own mind, of course, being human, tries to rationalize.
What he's seeing in his mind's eye is a snapshot of history.
And it's so strange how it comes through. Everything's black and white except for the flame. I'm seeing it as orange. This is big history in the time of when it happens.
It's extraordinarily accurate. Many of the workers perished when they couldn't escape.
I feel trapped in here, though, like there's no way out. Not out the windows. And I'm over there, too, this section. God. I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm feeling. I felt the tightness of how many people they must have put in this area. A lot more people than this place should have held. I was hearing, literally hearing sewing machines. Hard-working women. Hard-working women. Factory. Textile. Ching, 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 ching of the machines. A lot of women in so little space. They're all lined up. They're all lined up. And not only the fire, it's hot anyways. I'm sweating anyways, even in the work conditions of it. That's when I figured it out. Oh my God, this must have been a sweatshop.
And the full impact of what he's reliving in this former sweatshop is hard for John to take.
I felt like I wanted to go out the windows. I usually don't get emotional. And it's okay, just... It's emotional when I do this, but it's usually I have to stay strong when I'm getting really... This is Whoa. It's the part that they can't get out that's getting to me. I kept feeling the tragedy of this, the love for their family, their last thoughts of their family, maybe before they jumped. It was overwhelming.
Overwhelming because before the 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center, this had been the city's worst workplace disaster. New York City historian Joyce Gold is amazed by John's demonstration.
The fire began here on the 8th floor, spread very quickly through the top 3 floors of the building.
More so this side, and this is where they would have used sewing machines. And,
exactly,
yeah,
and you were right. The sewing machines were in long rows, one after another.
A lot of young women.
Exactly. Many of them were teenagers.
Absolutely.
Most of them were under age 22.
And what caused John's overpowering reaction when he came close to the windows?
90 people jumped out of this building. It was the horrible sound of a live body hitting concrete.
So how was John able to do this? According to Dr. Gary Schwartz, John probably tapped into something called place memory, when the environment itself stores past events.
If he is a sensitive individual, he should be able to pick up the information that's both local in the environment and also the information that would be coming from the other side. And that kind of information typically is extraordinarily accurate.
John Holland's psychic talents have been with him all his life. He grew up on the streets of Boston, one of 5 children from a working-class Irish-Italian Catholic family. He stood out from the very beginning.
I used to see the spirit people in my bedroom, thinking that maybe everyone sees these. I would know things that I couldn't possibly have known, read people's minds per se, like say what they were just about to say.
Afraid of being labeled weird, John tried to hide his ability and for many years managed to lead a normal life. But then at 30, a car accident in Los Angeles, where he was living at the time, would change his life. John was not seriously injured, but the trauma intensified his psychic ability.
It was instantaneous. It was so fast, the information, and I felt like an energy surging straight through me.
Unable to ignore his gift any longer, John decided to make it his career. There is literally a school for psychics, the Arthur Findlay College, and John took courses there during his 2 years in England. Though the college bears a striking resemblance to the Hogwarts of Harry Potter fame, it wasn't wizardry that John studied here.
I took classes on color, energy, meditation, clairvoyance, clairaudience. The intensity of going there was amazing. They work you from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night.